One blow, two no, back to the age of conversation.
Hi, I'm Alessio Products, artist and author of the upcoming comic Blazer, and welcome to my channel. Now, in my previous video, I stated that the purpose of these videos was to help promote my comic by talking about concepts found within my comic. And one such comic is that of mythical creatures and monsters. Most people are aware of these things, but what most people aren't aware of is their more historical origins, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Now, I have with me a scan from a book called Tell My Horse, Voodoo and Life in Haiti and Jamaica by Zora Neale Hurston. Now, I also wrote down a little bit of info on her, so you're not completely in the dark. Zora Neale Hurston was an anthropologist most known for her work on voodoo. She traveled to Haiti in 1936 to 1937 and documented what she saw. And a particular chapter in this book, chapter 13, is entitled Zombies. And it's a relatively long chapter, so I think we'll go right into it. We're missing 2 pages from this chapter, but I think that's probably a good thing because this is probably going to be a long video. Right. Zombies. What is the whole truth and nothing else but the truth about zombies? I do not know, but what I know is that I saw the broken remnants, relic, or refuse of Felicia Felix Mentor in a hospital yard. Here in the shadows of the Empire State Building, death and the graveyard are final. Is such a positive end that we use it as a measure of nothingness and eternity. We have the quick end, the dead. But in Haiti there's the quick, the dead, and then there is the zombie. This is the way zombies are spoken of. They are the bodies without souls, the living dead. Once they were dead, and after that they were called back to life again. No one could stay in Haiti long without hearing zombies mentioned in one way or another. And the fear of this thing and all that it means seeps over the country like a ground current of cold air. This fear is real and deep. It is more like a group of fears, for there is the outspoken fear among the peasants of the work of the zombies. Sit in the marketplace and pass a day with the market women, and notice how often some vendess cries out that a zombie with its invisible hands has filched her money or her goods, or the accusation is made that a zombie has been set upon her or someone of her family to work a piece of evil. Big zombies who come in the night to do malice are talked about. Also the little girl zombies who are sent out by their owners in the dark dawn to sell little packets of roasted coffee. Before sunup, their cries of "Café grillé" can be heard from dark places in the streets, and one can only see them if one comes out for the sailor to come with her goods. Then the little dead one makes herself visible and mounts the steps. The upper-class Haitians fear too, but they do not talk about it so openly as do the poor. But to them, also, it is a horrible possibility. Think of the fiendishness of the thing. It is not good for a person who has lived all his life surrounded by a degree of fastidious culture, loved to his last breath by family and friends, to contemplate the probability of his resurrected body being dragged from the vault, the best that love and means could provide, and set to toiling ceaselessly in the banana fields, working like a beast, unclothed like a beast, and like a brute, crouching in some foul den in the few hours allowed for rest and food. From an educated, intelligent being to an unthinking, unknowing beast. Then there is the helplessness of the situation. Family and friends cannot rescue the victim because they do not know. They think the loved one is sleeping peacefully in his grave. They may motor past the plantation where the zombie, who was once dear to them, is held captive, often and again, and its soulless eyes may have fallen upon them without thought or recognition. It is not to be wondered at that now and then, when the rumor spreads that a zombie has been found and recognized, that angry crowds gather and threaten violence to the person alleged to be responsible for the crime. Yet in spite of this obvious fear, and the preparation that is found being made to safeguard the bodies of the dead against this possibility, I was told by numerous upper-class Haitians that the whole thing was a myth. They pointed out that the common people were superstitious, and that the talk of zombies had no more basis in fact than the European belief in a werewolf. But I had the good fortune to learn of several celebrated cases in the past, and then, in addition, I had the rare opportunity to see and touch an authentic case. I listened to the broken noises in its throat, and then I did what no one else had ever done. I photographed it. If I had not experienced all this in the strong sunlight of a hospital yard, I might not have come away from Haiti interested, but doubtful. But I saw this case of Felicia Felix Mentor, which was vouched for by the highest authority. So I know that there are zombies in Haiti. People have been called back from the dead. Now, why have these dead folk not been allowed to remain in their graves? There are several answers to this question according to the case. A. Was awakened because somebody required his body as a beast of burden. In his natural state, he could never have been hired to work with his hands, so he was made into a zombie because they wanted his service as a laborer. B. Was summoned to labor also, but was reduced to the level of a beast as an act of revenge. And C. Was the culmination of Ba Maun ceremony and pledge. That is, he was given as a sacrifice to pay off a debt to a spirit for benefits received. I asked how the victims were chosen, and many told me that any corpse not too old to work would do. The Bokor watched the cemetery and went back and took suitable bodies. Others said no. The Bokor and his associates knew exactly who was going to be resurrected even before they died. They knew this because they themselves brought about the death. Maybe a plantation owner has come to a Bokor to buy some laborers, or perhaps an enemy wants the utmost in revenge. He makes an agreement with the Bokor to do the work. After the proper ceremony, the Bokor, in his most powerful and dreaded aspect, mounts a horse with his face toward the horse's tail, and rides after dark to the house of the victim. There he places his lips to the crack of the door and sucks out the soul of the victim and rides off in all speed. Soon the victim falls ill, usually beginning with a headache, and in a few hours is dead. The Bokor, not being a member of the family, is naturally not invited to the funeral. But he is there in the cemetery. He has spied on everything from a distance. He is in the cemetery, but does not approach the party. He never even faces it directly, but takes in everything out the corner of his eye. At midnight, he will return for his victim. Everybody agrees that the Bokor is there at the tomb at midnight, with the soul of the dead one. But some contend that he has it in a bottle, all labeled. Others say no, that he has it in his bare hand. That's the only disagreement. The tomb is opened by the associates, and the Bokor enters the tomb and calls the name of the victim. He must answer, because the Bokor has the soul there in his hand. The dead man answers by lifting his head, and the moment he does this, the Bokor passes the soul under his nose for a brief second and chains his wrists. Then he beats the victim on the head to awaken him further. Then he leads him forth, and the tomb is closed again, as if it never had been disturbed. The victim is surrounded by the associates, and the march to the Honfort voodoo temple and its surroundings begins. Not sure if that made sense. The Honfort is the voodoo temple and its surroundings. He is hustled along in the middle of the crowd, Thus he is screened from prying eyes to a great degree, and also in his half-waking state he is unable to orient himself. But the victim is not carried directly to the home fort. First, he is carried past the house where he lived. This is always done, must be done. If the victim were not taken past his former house, later on he would recognize it and return. But once he is taken past, it is gone from his consciousness forever. It is as if it never existed for him. He is then taken to the home fort and given a drop of a liquid, the formula for which is most secret. After that, the victim is a zombie. He will work ferociously and tirelessly without consciousness of his surroundings and conditions, and without memory of his former state. He can never speak again unless he is given salt. We have examples of a man who gave salt to a demon by mistake, and he come man again, and can write the name of the man who gave him to Loa. I think I'm going to end that there. There's another 11 pages, and I think this video is getting a little long as is. The remainder of the chapter just talks about the different rituals on how to become a zombie. For instance, I mentioned that one of the ways to become a zombie was the culmination of the Ba Maun ceremony and pledge. So at the end of this paragraph, I mentioned the Loa. As I understand it from reading the chapter, Loa are kind of like spirits or minor gods, if you will. Could be wrong, I might have misinterpreted that. And you could go to the Bokor and ask to make a pledge with the Loa, and the Loa would give you riches or whatnot, but you would constantly have to give sacrifices. So you would name a man, and that man would become a zombie. And there's also a little more talk about the case of what was her name? Felicia Felix Mentor. It talks about her a little more in the chapter. Another interesting topic would be actually the more modern zombie, because if you didn't notice, it's not really related at all to the modern zombie movies or modern zombie comics like The Walking Dead, which was a comic before it was a very successful TV show. I think that would make an interesting follow-up video, but that's for another time. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, comment, like. Comments are far more interesting than likes, so whatever pleases you. And yeah, I'll be doing more videos like this, so if you liked it, feel free to check out what else I got. Have a good day.